Jessica here with Joyful and Simple Designs. Today we're going to be making this nesting nativity scene. So each of these pieces comes out and then nests into the other. So we are going to be using a scroll saw to cut this out. And I'm going to start by scoring the design on my wood with my X-Tool laser. Another way that you can do this is by printing out your design and gluing it onto your wood. But I just have less sanding to do this way, so I have switched over to scoring my designs. So let's get started. So I'm going to be using 12-inch pine for this project, and I'm going to cut it at 12 inches. If you like this design, I am going to link it off of my Etsy account, so you are free to purchase it if you like it. But I just designed it on Illustrator, and if you can make your own designs, you can definitely create something that you like. As you can see, my design isn't all the way to the bottom of my board, so I could have lined this up better, but I didn't. So I'm just gonna cut this off because I want this completely flat when it sits on a table. That way there's no extra wobbling. So I'm gonna cut this off. Okay, we are ready to cut this out. So I'm just using my scroll saw. I have a DeWalt scroll saw and I love this thing. So I'm going to start on the outside and just work my way in. Okay, so I obviously didn't take my time to make sure that I was directly on the lines. Depending on what I'm gonna make, I will definitely take more time to make sure that my cuts are better. But I'm gonna sand all these score lines off that are left, so I'm not too worried about it. And also, you're gonna notice that there is a definite way that this is gonna fit together. So it's only gonna fit from behind or from in front. So mine fits from behind. And so I am gonna flip this over, and this is gonna now be the front that is gonna be seen by everyone, because I want this to nest out instead of back. So knowing that, I'm gonna make sure that this side looks really good after I sand. So that's gonna be my next step. I'm gonna start sanding with 120 just because I wanna get these lines off fast, and I'm gonna switch to 220 and just make sure it has a nice finish. Okay, so I accidentally broke off a piece. So I am just gonna cut off this other side, and I don't think anyone will notice. That way, when it fits back in here, it almost looks like it was meant to be. Next, I'm going to take the middle piece and I am going to spray paint it. I'm just using an off-white, and then I'm going to have my other pieces a stained brown. So I'm going to start with the back side, that way I can flip it over, and if it like gets touched or I don't know, if anything happens to it, it's not going to be noticeable. So I'm going to do a little coat on the back, and then I'll flip it over and paint as many layers as needed. Next, we're going to stain our pieces. So I'm going to be using an aged accelerator. Oh, it was not closed all the way. Anyway, I am using the stain that I'm using. You're not. Supposedly you don't have to wipe it off. I probably will, just because I know I'm going to have a lot on after I do the edges. So I'm going to stain these, and I'm going to let them dry really good. Okay, once everything is dry, you should be able to put your pieces back together. And then you have a nesting nativity scene.